Hello everyone, this is Laura from Astropositive, and we are here to talk about the forecast, astrological forecast for the month of February 2026. I'll first start with a look back, and I'd like to draw your attention to what I said in the previous video about the Mars-Pluto conjunction that was to happen on the 27th of January. I mentioned then a worrying few days at the end of January, highlighting a risk of violent events with the Mars-Pluto conjunction, the Moon conjuncting Pluto afterwards and triggering this conjunction, and also Neptune freshly arrived in Aries. How did it go for you first? Because I must say I've been through it. It hit me full force, I must say, and you will soon understand why I'm saying this. It was quite literal, And at first I planned to actually show you a photo, but maybe I shouldn't, frighten you off at the very beginning, so maybe I put the photo down in the comments. In short, I was coming back from my third night shift. Okay, I couldn't recover well in between because I have some problems sleeping, and I fell asleep while driving, and I woke up stuck in the river, basically. It is a miracle that I made it unscathed, okay, and I even recovered my bag, my phone, all my belongings. So I guess I could have died that day, as you will see if you look at the photo. But it's only a matter of, that log in the windshield being a few inches to the left. But obviously it wasn't my time just yet. I'm an Aries sun. Of course, Mars is my ruler, and the conjunction of Mars to the Pluto actually hit Aries harder. Also, considering the river, Neptune in Aries was quite to the point. Chiron was also exactly conjunct my Sun, so I sure made a fool of myself, as well as putting myself in great danger. Luckily, my Sun was also sextiling Jupiter, and probably a guardian angel was working hard to rescue me. Of course, not all Aries people suffered a car crash. There were other elements at play that were specific to my chart that I won't discuss here. But the message here is never underestimate the message of the planets, what the planets have to tell us. Okay, now more to the point regarding February. This month has all the inner planets that are starting the month in Aquarius, and they are slowly finding their way towards Pisces. The Sun is going in Pisces on the 18th, Mercury on the 6th, and actually is going retrograde at the end of the month on the 27th, and Venus on the 10th. So, other significant planetary movements concern Saturn, that is coming into Aries on the 14th, and Uranus, that is going direct in Taurus on the 5th. So, the month starts off with a bang, because there is this full moon on the 1st of February, at 13 degrees of Leo, so it's the full moon is an axis, so it's the Leo-Aquarius axis. This full moon actually still occurs at the midpoint of Venus-Mars and is widely opposing both. There are not many other aspects at this time with this full moon, so Saturn gets ever closer to Neptune. It's preparing to make a conjunction to Neptune on the 20th, and both are making a separating sextile to Uranus, and also Juno is opposing Jupiter. So there are some separating aspects also, a conjunction of Mercury to Venus and the famous conjunction of Mars to Pluto. All separating aspects are waning in power because they happened in the recent past, okay? But their vibrations still linger in the air. Their impact will be lessened, though. We discussed already the brute force that is released with Mars-Pluto and the light-hearted sweet talk with Mercury-Venus, okay? So we are reminded of this at this time, but we see little of their effects. This fiery full moon in Leo is all about love, the passionate side of it, as much as the romance. Regardless of the signs of the inner planets, this is a full moon at the Venus-Mars midpoint, okay? So in romantic Leo. So Leo can be quite vocal about his feelings. So for some, this can be an outstandingly romantic time, where passions are heightened and love vows might be exchanged. The moon in Leo will make sure this happens in a lovely setting, in beautiful surroundings, at a high-quality dinner, for instance, because we deserve it and won't settle for anything less. The commitment at this time won't feel smothering. Rather, it will create excitement and a feeling of freedom and new horizons. Perhaps the situation or the relationship itself will be a little unconventional as well, with a touch of eccentricity because of all these Aquarius planets. That will enhance the feeling of the two of you as a unit. It's us against them, But let's not forget that Venus and Mars are both in Aquarius. So those of us who are not already smitten and in the middle of a romance, are more inclined to distance themselves rather than get enmeshed in love attachments. Maybe in this highly open-minded and experimental sign, we might dip our toes and test the waters in some equivocal situationship, perhaps, but nothing more. The moon in Leo, on the other hand, is standing tall in their height, in their splendor, pride, and glory. It is uncompromising, doesn't bend to anybody's will, and basically expects to be adored. This makes for a stark contrast with all the cerebral, cold and detached Aquarius. No surprise, they're after all opposite signs, Leo and Aquarius. It can also be an issue of the individual versus the collective, my wish versus theirs, and in this case we might follow the moon in all her individualism and expect others to fulfill our wishes. So why would it be for me, to relent? That's basically what we are saying. In love, this can be a dangerous game when none of the parties is ready to give in. Both Leo and Aquarius are, after all, fixed signs, and therefore they can be really stubborn. So this might turn into a deadlock, at worst. Juno, soon to oppose Jupiter, might signify unrealistic expectations in committed relationships and even dealings with justice in this respect. I mentioned that Aquarius is concerned with the collective, the community. So this time might also bring up an issue of the individual going against common thinking, against the values of his or her community. This might also see a clash with friends, because Aquarius concerns friendship relationships. Because with the moon in Leo, we might be easily vexed. On the positive side, Leo is quite playful. So we might enjoy a great time doing something creative, something that gives us pleasure. So after this shiny full moon, the atmosphere of the month will slowly, drift towards softer shades, with the inner planets moving towards Pisces. First Mercury, then Venus, then the Sun. The detachment is over. Now we let all those feelings creep back in. Remember last October when we had this water grand trine that lasted for quite a long time, almost 2 months. There is no trine now, but a pervasive emotionally charged atmosphere, might prevail, especially during the second half of the month, when all the inner planets except Mars will find their marks into Pisces. On the 17th, we have a new moon, and that is actually a solar eclipse as well, because it is occurring close to the north node, still at 28 degrees of Aquarius. It makes a square to its own ruler Uranus, that is in Taurus. Other aspects that are happening at this time is Mercury trining Jupiter, Venus conjunct the north node in Pisces, Saturn conjunct Neptune, of course, at 0 degrees Aries, and Juno opposite Jupiter. Well, placement in houses in a lunation chart don't really matter, because this will vary for each of you according to your position, your location. So this certainly looks like a dreamy new romantic, beginning that will reverse or revolutionize a situation with the square to Uranus. This might be a shocking new start that marks a departure from the norm and the status quo, that can be ignited by a new love or the discovery of a new calling in Pisces. A new moon in Aquarius can open a new chapter in terms of the collective, as I said. We feel concerned with the society at large and with our own well-being inside this community. Innovation is the keyword, and technology might be advancing by leaps and bounds. This time the advance might be disruptive as well, because this is a square to Uranus, and it can be seemingly unexpected. The situation will be tense and might inspire some anxiety, as is always the case with the hard aspects to Uranus. A state of things might collapse without previous notice, because we have to remember that Saturn is also getting closer to Neptune. The conjunction is practically exact on the 20th. I have the feeling that news will be quite shocking at this time. Uranus is still in Taurus, so it will be concerned with the material side of things. With the disruption might concern material resources, and this will impact society as a whole. We might just scramble after the last bits, basically. Saturn-Neptune in itself is the end of a state of things. But at 0 degrees of Aquarius, of Aries, sorry, this is also marking a new beginning that can be quite martial because Aries is a Mars-ruled sign. We should prepare for change on a massive scale, as structures that were valid till now are crumbling. And we will see, actually, we already see it if we look around us. There will be few certainties left, and maybe that's the case already. I spoke about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in my video about, the general video about 2026. It is the one most important event of the year. And actually, unfortunately, not the happiest one. That video didn't get raving reviews for that reason, and somebody even commented that I wasn't being very astropositive in it. Well, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Life is there to prove us so every single day. The good thing I have to say about Saturn-Neptune is that it made itself already felt throughout the last half of 2025. So it won't hit us by surprise when it finally happens. This conjunction actually happens every 35 to 36 years or so. The last time it was in Aries, it was in the 18th century, so it's a bit hard to compare. But the last Saturn-Neptune conjunction was in 1989, and of course it saw the fall of the Berlin Wall and the dismantling of the communist bloc. In Aries, it will affect more like, military power. So some alliances might dissolve with the solar eclipse in Aquarius. Wars can be started too, because this is happening in Aries, with everyone rushing in to try and grab others' resources before they run dry. Globally, it will be a very disconcerting time, when we will lose our landmarks and we'll have to adjust to a brave new world that's setting in. I'm speaking in future terms, but in fact the process is already afoot, of course, and we see it every day if we look around us. On the other hand, at the time of this new moon, Venus is conjunct the North Node in Pisces, and that speaks a different language altogether. It speaks about love, transpersonal love, transcendent love, universal love, even, that give us all a chance to vibrate at a higher level, and become better persons, perhaps. Show our humane and also spiritual side. We might meet the person of our dreams and fall in love with this conjunction to the North Node. It will be love at first sight. It is a wonderful time for romance. And Mercury trine Jupiter will make communication go easy and naturally, because we will feel optimistic about the outcome, basically. Which is actually great and much needed at this time with the Saturn-Neptune I was talking about. Times may be hard, but people in love will barely notice. Actually, Venus is also heading towards a trine to Jupiter, so there will be reason to celebrate at this time too. The way I see it, we will be happy and content enough individually, but shaken to the core by huge world shifts as a society. I usually speak about what Bernadette Brady has to say about eclipses, because Bernadette Brady is a famous Australian astrologer. And in her book, actually, about eclipses, she has a short description of every Saros series of eclipses, and this series happens to be the SS Saros series 10 North, and her description of it is strong emphasis on communication, frustrating or inhibiting events via news, paperwork, or a young person. We may feel drained and tired, so we should work with difficulties step by step and taking them one at a time. Okay, this doesn't sound very encouraging, but we all know that there are some tough periods ahead, It sometimes happens and it cannot be avoided, so the thing here is to be patient and, as she said, take difficulties one at a time. During this month, the inner planets that are still closely packed together follow a path that leads them from a sextile to Chiron to a square to Uranus. So from openly acknowledging some private wounds and failings to sudden and startling events, where we will show a good deal of impulsivity, perhaps, and rashness with the square to Uranus. We might act a bit headstrong and willful, and we won't be easily, amenable to reason. Better collaboration with one another will be achieved then with the conjunction to the North Node that's happening, which should lead eventually to a happy conclusion with a trine to Jupiter. This is roughly the outline for February. Okay, so let's see how each sign will fare during the month of February. And if you will excuse me, I will take a sip of my tea first. Okay, so for Aries, Mars is actually in Aquarius, so it's in Aries' 11th house. So what is the name of the day is energetic activities with friends, going for hikes, doing team sports together, meeting dynamic people also that can help get things going, starting a project with friends, possible quarrels with friends too, because it's Mars after all, so take it easy, don't let your temper override your better judgment. Pluto is there to stay anyway in the 11th house of Aries, so your friend circle is bound to evolve quite a lot in the next years. You will probably make contacts, new contacts that with influencing people who may forward your interests and support you with your projects also. The inner planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, are first in the first half of the month in Aquarius in your 11th also, and then they move on to your 12th house. So the focus is first on your social life and future plans, and then it turns inward, you become actually more meditative or reflect on your goals more. Things are in the incubation stage, in preparation for a hatching that will come in March probably, when all of these planets will move on to Aries. Right now, take time to rest and let inspiration come to you. Jupiter, in the meantime, is protecting your home life in Cancer. So you will feel quite at ease at home. Any efforts to beautify your home, to redecorate, to renovate, will be rewarded. Now until the summer is the time to make whatever home improvements you are planning to make. Family relationships should also go better, and a warm, supportive atmosphere will reign at home. The big news this month is, of course, that Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron are now all in your sign, in your first house. So they will stay with you throughout the year. Well, Chiron with a short break in between. So these are mixed blessings, I won't lie, but in any case, you are dealing with some heavy and very significant, influences, and you should pay attention. With Neptune, you might feel inspired by a higher cause or ideal that will make you strive to become a better person. In other aspects, you might also delude yourself because Neptune concerns illusions, and you might fall an easy prey to scammers and smooth talkers. So it is a good idea to check the data twice and not, rush into believing whatever you're being told. Don't take anything at face value. With Saturn, you will be asked to show responsibility, caution, perseverance. It's time that you act as a grown-up. Even if you are one, it's time to show, more maturity perhaps. The workload might increase and your responsibilities likewise, but that is only the only path forward. You can't skip this step. It won't be the more joyful and, worry-free time of your life, but it might well be the most productive. Saturn actually achieves things. People will take you seriously as you show up as a reliable, hard-working, and respectable and wise individual. Chiron in your sign is still here in February and throughout the year, and as I said, with a 3-month break in between. So you might find yourself in some embarrassing situation, hopefully not the same that the one I was in a situation where you fail to deliver what's expected of you, basically. Or life maybe puts you face to face with your limitations. You have to acknowledge that you are not Superman or Wonder Woman, and you have to accept your flaws. You better integrate them and do your best with them. Uranus is still in your second house, so the money situation might take still some surprising twists and turns, most likely for the better, because Uranus is in good aspect to Saturn and Neptune. The full moon, that is occurring on the 1st of February, is happening in your 5th. So this is highlighting your children, your hobbies, and also your love affairs. This fiery full moon, should suit you to a T, because it's happening in Leo, which is a friendly fire sign. And it's just what the doctors ordered at this time, to get you out of the Saturn-Neptune-induced blues. Get out, have fun, meet people, express your love feelings, and just enjoy life more. With the new moon that's happening on the 17th in your 11th, this is a startling change in your friend circle, perhaps, or sudden events concerning friends who may need your helping hand because Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Or maybe vice versa, they may help you, by showing more care and empathy. You might make new acquaintances that will become better friends, best friends afterwards. So as to the more significant dates of this month, on the 13th, Mars is quincunx Jupiter. So it's a day to readjust perhaps a little bit, to scale down a little bit your plans and projects. Because you will be, called to really exert yourself, do your best, really spend lots of energy, and you will feel afterwards quite tired. On the 19th, Mars is sextiling Ceres, so this is all about nurturing yourself with good foods and also good parental relationships, because Ceres rules parental relationships. And on the 27th, Mars is squaring Uranus, so this is a day really to pay attention to the risk of accidents. You might be a bit impulsive and inadvertently, cut yourself, hurt yourself, get some bruises, and also rash and, go straight into action without thinking, which is a thing that Aries can do, as we all know. Okay. Nothing else for Aries. So now for Taurus. Okay, so Taurus, Venus is your ruler, is in your 10th house, and then it moves on to the 11th house. So this is beneficial first to your career and public status, and then its mission achieved on this level, Venus moves on to animate your social life in a pleasant way. Sun and Mercury also do the same, moving from Aquarius to Pisces, so you should enjoy a very successful and pleasant month. First in your career and then in your community, celebrating the results with your friends. Your happy mood will be infectious and you will feel like reconnecting with old friends, especially as Mercury turns retrograde on the 26th. So it's a time to make that phone call, that you were planning to make since a long time ago. This is good to hear after the prolonged stay of Saturn, in your 11th, that cut you off a bit from your friends, from your favorite people. Maybe you felt like taking a time out by yourself also. You felt a little bit reclusive. But now in the second half of the month, Saturn is exiting your 11th, and your taste for social events will return. Mars in the 10th house, in Aquarius for the whole month, is stepping on the gas to help you advance your career and achieve your professional goals. In itself, this could bring some conflicts also with your superiors, unfortunately, especially in the second half of the month when Mars is left all alone in the 10th, while the nice softening influence of Venus will have quit it. Pluto is in your 10th for the long run, so you are called to make quite an impact in the world in the years to come, professionally speaking. It would help to make a conscious effort to prepare to be the best version of yourself, and also act consciously towards a goal. Pluto can manifest ruthlessly and blindly, as I just saw by myself, these last days. So try to harness this tremendous energy of change with the aid of Mars. Great efforts beget great results, it is known. Jupiter in your 3rd is honing your communication skills and ensures you make yourself heard in a way that comes through pleasantly and effectively. You might feel struck by inspiration and feel like getting down to write something, a novel or poetry for that matter. Anyway, you'll be prolific with your communication and messages and very proficient in the way you express yourself. Relationships to siblings and neighbors also should go well at this time. Learning comes easily also with this position, so it's a good time to feed your mind. Saturn and Neptune are entering your 12th. In Aries. So it is a time to rest and reflect on your possible blockages and inhibitions, perhaps, that manifested in the past, because this is Saturn after all. Now and throughout the next 1 to 2 years, 2 years most likely, because, the time that Saturn is staying in Aries, you have a chance to come to the roots of a problem and understand where it stems from. You will feel much more inspired with Neptune also, and also more in touch with your spiritual side. Don't fret if you experience some bouts of melancholy with the Saturn-Neptune there. This is part of the process of healing, because Chiron is also there, let's not forget. Something might worry you or discontent you as well, and it will be hard to shake it off. It will only become apparent and manifest once Saturn will come in Taurus in your first house. Uranus in your sign still this month might add some anxiety in the mix. Life still feels quite, unpredictable, and this might be exciting for some, but for steady Taurus it might prove too much. You long to lay down roots, but the ever-changing situation doesn't let you. These months are like a last opportunity, because Uranus will soon leave Taurus, to express your individuality and make the daring move that you are dreaming to make. Don't be afraid to shock people a little bit at this time and prove there is more to you than meets the eye. The full moon that is happening on the 1st is in your 4th house, so maybe a crisis at home, or a major event such as a move perhaps, or a rehaul, or the coming or departing of family members, possibly an event linked to your parents, if not your physical home. Then the new moon on the 17th, which is a solar eclipse, as I said, is happening in your 10th. So this sees a sudden turnaround in your career, or again a sudden event concerning your parents, possibly your mother. If you dreamt of a change of career, now is the right time. Because this is a solar eclipse, so the effect will be felt for the next 6 months to come. You might make a sudden move that will radically alter your public image, perhaps. Or you might be on the receiving end of such a move. And this might cause some anxiety due to a feeling of instability or scarcity with Uranus in Taurus, as I said before. Okay, now for the most important dates of the month. So, Venus will be sextiling Chiron on the 4th. So with this, you will prove more empathetic, and also more self-indulgent, because you will understand yourself better, and you will better accept your limitations and those of others. You will be more open about it. Then on the 8th, Venus is squaring Uranus, and you will feel like, starting a new hobby, trying something new, out of the blue. Also, well, in relationships, it can be a little bit rocky, because you will be a little bit more independent than usual. But on the other hand, if you're not already in a relationship, you might meet someone new. So the 8th is a very interesting day for you, if a bit tense. Then on the 17th, Venus is conjunct the nodes, so again, a very nice day to meet someone, to go to a social meeting, enjoy time with friends. On the 22nd, Venus is trining Jupiter, so this is, again, a very nice day to enjoy yourself, being a bit lazy, have a breakfast in bed, go out shopping, or anything that gives you pleasure. Okay, on the 27th, Venus is sextiling Juno, so a good day for discussing things with your partner, in a good understanding with your partner is the key word. Then Mercury is conjunct Venus on the 28th, so this is again a very nice day to express your love feelings, to just have a laugh with friends, go out see a movie, anything that's light and also puts you in a good mood. Okay, now for Gemini. So Mercury is your ruler, and it is right now in your 9th house and then in your 10th. So this suggests that your main interest will be linked to foreign travels at first in your 9th, and also studies in the first half of the month, and then will move on full force in your 10th to put into practice what you learned. Now the holidays are over, once Mercury goes on to your 10th house, so it's time to give your best in your career sector. The other planets, Sun and Venus, will follow suit. Mercury is the fastest and anticipates on every other planet's move. The Sun is lingering the longest in the area of travel and musings and life philosophy and learning, but it eventually decides to focus on your career and professional life after the 18th. Mars in the 9th is energizing your travels, so as I said, but take care, don't take unnecessary risks when traveling. I could have said that also before, because Mars was already in Aquarius end of January, And furthermore, it was conjunct Pluto, okay? So I hope that you all made it through with no problems. I know something about it because I am a Gemini rising, and driving wasn't safe these days for me, as we all could see, to say the least. Well, in February, Mars is not making any dangerous aspects until the square to Uranus at the end of the month. Pluto is also in your 9th house to stay, so travels and studies can be life-transforming for you. They can have a long-lasting impact. Through travel, that be it, either intellectual or physical, you will be exposed to deep, powerful experiences that can sometimes feel threatening as well with Pluto, and that can set your life on a new course. Jupiter in your 2nd house is bringing good financial news. Your income should be doing just fine at this time, and you should be happy with your earnings. Saturn and Neptune in Aries in your 11th don't allow for a lot of social interactions anymore, especially in the 2nd half with Saturn there. You might feel a bit reclusive all of a sudden, or maybe you will carefully choose, who you can truly call friends and who is no more than an acquaintance. Your social circle will undergo a pruning of sorts with Saturn. Because with Saturn you make a choice. You become very selective as to who you will open up to. It's also possible that your professional life and your daily schedule don't leave much space for hanging out with friends. Chiron is there too, so some of your friends might go through a difficult time, or some issues will come up that will cause embarrassment between you. Showing some empathy is in order with Chiron. Uranus in your 12th is still causing some diffuse anxiety in the background, because you sense that it will soon go into Gemini, your sign, and then it will bring a lot of turbulent rebelliousness. You can feel it already approaching. For now, it is still bubbling under the surface, so you should be assured that once it crosses over into Gemini this spring, you will be in for a very thrilling ride, to say the least. You will get a taste of it with this new moon on the 17th that is squaring Uranus. The full moon that is happening on the 1st is a harbinger of good news. Lots of communication coming your way, and we know that Gemini loves this. The new moon in Aquarius, also on the 17th, is also in good aspect to Gemini, because it's happening in Aquarius, that is an air sign, so in a trine, and that might bring a sudden and maybe somehow shocking also opportunity regarding a project, or some shocking news from a friend. Now for the important dates for Gemini. Okay, so Mercury will be sextiling Chiron on the 3rd, and this is a day to open up about your problems and worries as well, and be a bit more tolerant of your flaws. On the 5th, Mercury is squaring Uranus, so that will be a very nervously charged day, that will bring lots of unexpected news and will keep you, on edge all the time. On the 16th, Mercury is trining Jupiter, so this time only good news to be expected, and also good communication and just, having fun. Great day for being in a good mood. On the 18th, Mercury is sextiling Juno, so now it's your turn to maybe discuss things and make things clear with your partner about your commitments, about what you expect from one another. On the 28th, Mercury is conjunct Venus, so as I said before for Taurus, this is a day to speak about your affections, to declare your love to someone, to write something nice, to actually exchange some jokes and have some laughs. Okay, now on to Cancer. Just a minute. I bring it up to date. Okay. So Cancer. So the inner planets for Cancer go from the 8th house to the 9th. So in the beginning of the month, your focus is still on serious matters regarding financial assets, shared property, or perhaps matters of health that are requiring your immediate attention, and they have a need for medical intervention. The atmosphere is still feeling quite a bit heavy in the 8th house, but in the 2nd half, the sun is shining again and let you see the world and travel, be optimistic, because you have gained a new vision of life and a new understanding after all this stay in the 8th house. Mars in your 8th house for the whole month still focuses your energy on financial matters. So it's battling over issues of what belongs to whom, or possibly there are arguments going on over matters of intimacy, what and how much of yourself you share with your partner, and that is not necessarily material, you know. Jupiter in your sign is the good news, you know, and still will be for the next 6 months. And is still protecting you with this buoyant energy, you know, of optimism, making sure that you stay safe and happy no matter what. So this is a lovely influence full of vitality that should expand and improve your home life in Cancer, your family relationships as well. It should also enhance your inborn qualities as a caretaker, as a nurturer, as a homemaker, because you will be even more appreciated for these qualities, you know, for your caring nature. Saturn Neptune in your 10th signals a time of reckoning regarding your career. Maybe it's time to take stock of what you achieved in this respect and what your prospects are. With Saturn, your past efforts might be rewarded because Saturn values persistence and is normally a fair judge. You might be receiving a public recognition of sorts with Saturn in the 10th, like a diploma or other official evidence, you know, of your merits, of your good results. It's also a time when you are asked to make extra efforts in your professional field, to consolidate your position, for instance. On the other hand, it may be a difficult time concerning your parents, your mother in particular, and you might be called to be the caretaker for one of your parents. With Neptune, you might become a bit disappointed with your current line of work or public status and feel the impulse to change, to embrace a more spiritual career, perhaps, go after your vocation that might be altruistic, you know. You are actually looking for a higher purpose, basically. Alternatively, it may be a time when your professional dreams come true, because Neptune is ruling dreams, especially if your work is in a field that is ruled by Neptune, such as you know, an artistic field or the movie industry or pharmaceuticals or a medical field. Chiron is also in your 10th, so this pushes you to take care of others professionally, as in, you know, working with people, taking care of them. It's also a time where a feeling of inadequacy might plague you on real or imaginary, you know, grounds. With Chiron, this feeling of not being good enough is often purely subjective. You know, it has nothing to do with what's really going on. We might feel we are not successful enough, no matter how many distinctions we are rewarded, no matter what our superiors say. So you should go easy on yourself and know that your merits will be seen because Saturn is in your 10th and you will be recognized. Uranus in your 11th probably brought a breath of fresh air, you know, and also a variety of new people in your friend circle. And that can still happen this month. The full moon that is happening on the 1st is in your 2nd house. So this is highlighting your ability to earn. So it probably won't be about winning the lottery for sure, but your income will probably be affected for the better. The new moon on the 17th in your 8th might bring about a particular, you know, unexpected financial transaction or the sudden need of therapy of some kind because it's the 8th house. It might be a tricky time around the 17th, so don't take any risks and go see a doctor if needed, because this new moon is squaring Uranus, as I said before. Okay, Cancer is ruled by the moon, we all know this, and the moon makes lots of aspects every month, so the list of important dates is longer for Cancer. Okay, so the moon is making squares to Uranus on the 2nd and the 17th, and this should feel quite exciting, thrilling, but also nervously exhausting, you know. Unexpected things will come up about everywhere. Then on the 4th, the moon is sextiling Jupiter. It will also be trining Jupiter on the 9th. And on the 18th, and all of these dates are very good dates to, you know, good opportunities when luck is smiling on you. So you will feel happy and optimistic and benevolent. Okay, enjoy these days. On the 5th, the moon is opposing Saturn-Neptune, and it will be squaring Saturn-Neptune on the 26th and conjunct Saturn-Neptune on the 19th. And all of these aspects to Saturn-Neptune actually trigger, again, the Saturn-Neptune influence. So it's bouts of sadness and melancholy, feeling really pressured at work, feeling really tired. Okay, so just remember it's only for like half a day and don't think more of it. On the 7th and 27th, the moon is trining Venus and Mercury together. And again, some other time, no, it's only happening on the 7th and 27th. And the sextiling actually them on the 13th. So these 3 days feel like, very light-hearted days when you feel like in a good mood, you feel like talking to everyone you meet, cracking jokes, being the life of the party. Okay, so enjoy them. On the 8th, the moon is squaring Mars and Pluto. And actually on the 15th, it will be conjunct Pluto, and on the 16th, conjunct Mars, and then again opposite Pluto on the 28th. So all these aspects to Mars and Pluto that are remaining quite close together for the whole month are very, feel like very heavy days. Also a bit, dangerous, if one has to say this. Like a warning, you shouldn't get involved with anything dangerous. You should pay attention to what you do, okay? Really protect yourself. And also with Pluto, there's this heavy feeling, you might have like forebodings, which will not necessarily come true. It's just the feeling that you get, because you feel that you are confronted with higher forces that you have to face, but you don't have the, the power to stand up to them. Okay, so you might be feeling really pressured at this time. Okay, on the positive side, you can achieve a lot. With Mars conjunct Pluto is tremendous power, and with the moon there, it unleashes this power, for your advantage, because this is the moon. Okay, so it's up to you to make the most of it and not get overwhelmed. Okay, so I think I said it all. On to Leo. Okay, where is Leo? Oh, I've lost my marks in my notes. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so Leo, the sun, of course, is in Aquarius at the start of the month. It will shine in your 7th house and then in your 8th, accompanied by Mercury and Venus, always. So roughly the first half of the month is focusing on your significant other, because it's the 7th house, on your partner, in the best and most pleasant way. You feel carried away with thoughts of love and really devote yourself to your partner. You want to offer them the best. Going on to the 8th house, it's a matter of stepping up, the partnership to higher levels of commitment, perhaps, and intimacy, offering proof of mutual trust, and sharing as much of yourself and your property and possessions as possible. Mars in your 7th can make for fun adventures as a couple, going on hikes, enjoying sports together, or maybe starting a new audacious project together. Mars can mean sparks fly, but not only in a good way. So sometimes it might mean a tendency to quarrel. So you'd better find something active to do together to spend this energy, so your martial fire will burn out a bit, rather than take it out on each other because you have too much energy to spend. This is especially a danger in the second half of the month, when Venus will have already crossed over to your 8th house. So Pluto is in your 7th also, after all, for the years to come. So you will become more and more involved in a partnership that can have a profound impact on you for the years to come. Jupiter in your 12th makes for a certain peace of mind. Things are as they should be. You feel confident in yourself, your mind's at ease. You might have lively, colorful dreams as well, and an abundance of inspiration for the future. Your subconscious is surely sending you right now messages that you shouldn't ignore. Also, it might mean that a guardian angel is at work for you. You feel protected. Saturn and Neptune are making their way in your 9th house. You will be doubling down on your studies if you are, a student, and that will require your utmost concentration with Saturn. Well, we learn at any age, so this concerns every Leo, but especially those who have embarked upon a formal course of study. You might become much more open to spiritual subjects as well with Neptune, to concepts that may have eluded you before. You are starting now to form a new life philosophy. Every experience is like a stepping stone to get there. Your previous view of life and especially religion, might might undergo a revision, or might be enriched, as you get new glimpses about new truths. You probably won't have much time to devote to travel anymore because Saturn is there, unfortunately, but intellectually you will discover like a whole new world for you to explore. Uranus in your 10th is taking advantage of his last months in Taurus to reset your career, your professional choices. So now is the time to make any necessary changes, especially if you deem them, too risky before, too outrageous, perhaps, or too out of character. So be original, dare to show, a whole new image of yourself. Unexpected events regarding your parents might also happen these next few months, or some sudden disruptive news might reach you concerning your career. You probably already experienced a lot of this disruption and changes in this area, and the dust hasn't settled yet, nor will it until May or so, when Uranus will go into Gemini. So the situation concerning your status and career is still highly volatile. The full moon is happening in the 1st, so in your sign. So this is a wonderful occasion to enjoy, a romantic tete-a-tete, and to declare your flame to somebody. Be passionate like a true Leo. Be generous and overwhelm your partner, with your true love. The new moon on the 17th is in your 7th house. So this signals a step ahead in your commitments. That can come as quite a shock to other people, perhaps. It might also signify like a sudden turn of events that can put your partnership to the test. But this is less likely, because considering the lovely Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces aspects, and also the Mercury aspects to Jupiter. Okay, so important dates for Leos are on the 5th, the Sun sextile Ceres. So this is a very good day, as a parent, to experience good relationships with your parents or with your children, depending. On the 12th, the Sun makes the sextile to Chiron I was talking about before with Mercury and Venus. So this time is the Sun, and it's about openly admitting to your flaws, recognizing, your wounds, and discussing them with others can actually help you heal them, or at least better accept them. On the 16th, the Sun is squaring Uranus, and this can be quite a tense day, quite a nervous day, with lots of change of schedule and changing plans that are not actually depending on you. And on the 27th, the Sun is conjunct the North Node, so this is a very social day with social meetings and reunions of all sorts, when you can strike up new contacts and new friendships as well. Okay, now on to Virgo. So, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is going from the 6th to the 7th, from Aquarius to Pisces. In the beginning of the month, you are still focused on your work routine, on the nitty-gritty, on making things going, fixing up what needs fixing. So it's the humdrum of daily life, but it is not all unpleasant, actually, if a bit boring. Venus is there to make your life a bit easier and also your schedule lighter. So maybe you got a new pet recently, because the 6th is also concerned with small animals. Anyway, if you have a furry friend, it will bring you much joy at this time with Venus there. Gradually, you will be able to breathe a little, relax, and have some quality time with your partner as the planets are moving onto your 7th house, one after the other. So what about a weekend, just the two of you away? If you're not already in a couple, you may well meet someone significant in the second half of the month. Previously, Saturn and Neptune were in your 7th, so partnerships may have been severely tested. Now the pressure is finally off because they are both leaving, and you may develop a close relationship with someone with full clarity, about what your expectations are. Mars in your 6th is keeping your attention and energy fixated on your work that you perform with your well-known, diligence and zeal. Your focus is also directed at your health, and with Mars there, you should take care of bruises, small cuts, and burns, and also fever that are all very typical of Mars. Mars will be squaring Uranus on the 27th, and you should pay attention at that date because you want to avoid accidents. Jupiter in your 11th is making for a very lively social life, with many opportunities to communicate with friends and make plans together. You will probably shine in your friendship circle and be all the more loved, for your generosity and your caring nature, because Jupiter is there in Cancer. Saturn and Neptune are now entering your 8th, as I said. So this can be a difficult time regarding your finances with respect to debts and fixed expenses like, taxes, insurance, and also especially shared property with your partner or spouse. So fixed expenses, as I said, might weigh heavily on the budget. Some bad news might reach you also concerning the, passing of people and things out of your life. You may be well advised to take good care of yourself as well, of your health, and not postpone any necessary medical intervention, as the 8th is the house of therapy, among other things. So this house is actually resonating with Scorpio and Pluto, and therefore it has regenerative power. Don't shrink from therapy, because this could be a healing time, of the body and soul, because Chiron is there too. Uranus is still in your 9th house, so this might still expose you to new ideas, to new concepts, offer unexpected opportunities to travel and take up studies, perhaps, that will greatly expand your horizons. And this will all serve you well once Uranus will move into your 10th house in the spring. The full moon on the 1st of February is happening in your 12th house, so this doesn't mean anything earth-shaking, but it is an opportunity to get to know yourself better, and maybe to tackle a health issue of some duration, because the 12th concerns, long-term health issues. The new moon on the 17th is happening in your 6th, so this puts you on a new course at work, perhaps on a new, healthier daily routine. You might even adopt a new pet, as I said. Okay, so the important dates for Virgo. On the 3rd, you have Mercury sextiling Chiron. So this is just, talking about with people about their problems, your problems, just sharing your experiences and feeling that you can help each other. Mercury squaring Uranus on the 5th. This is a hectic day with lots of changing plans and lots of unexpected, news and things happening, and quite a lot of mental tension. On the 16th, Mercury is trining Jupiter, so this is a day of good news and enjoying yourself and feeling lucky. Okay, just don't take too many risks. Then on the 18th, Mercury is sextiling Juno, and this is a day to spend with your significant other, with your partner, and discuss things with your spouse, about your expectations of one another. On the 28th, Mercury is conjunct Venus, so this is a great day for having fun, showing your sense of humor, feeling like, enjoying yourself, go out for a movie, whatever gives you pleasure. Libra now. Okay, so Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is first in your 5th house and then moves over to your 6th. So this means that you start with a happy period focused on your children, your hobbies, and your love life. Romance is in the air and you feel like playing, having fun. The sun is smiling at you as well from the 5th house, and this invigorates you with a new zest for life. You might spend some quality time with your children and perhaps you try to find a new hobby, and you should also flirt a little if you are thus inclined. But gradually, work is impinging on fun, unfortunately, and you find yourself immersed in your everyday preoccupations again in the second half of the month. It won't be all a chore. You will find ways to keep it interesting and pleasant even, because, well, of course, it's Venus on. Mars will remain in your 5th house throughout the month, and this will make you much more energetic, more outgoing. Maybe you will be tempted to start a sports routine, hit the gym more often, as you planned at the new year, you remember. Your spare time will be well employed, and any hobbies, will be of the outdoorsy kind, perhaps, or at least they will take up a lot of your energy. Your kids might excel in sports. It's also possible that you go through some rough patches with them, unfortunately, because kids might prove a bit unruly at this time. If you're looking for love, you should be proactive with Mars, and taking the first step is indicated. Jupiter in your 10th has its eye on your career, and this helps you get along and make good progress. Things should go smoothly at work, and you should receive the recognition that you deserve. New professional opportunities might turn up as well, and you might even be spoiled for choice in this respect. Now is the time to ask for a promotion because, you will be well regarded at work, especially in the second half of the month when your 6th house is also well occupied with Venus there. Saturn and Neptune are entering your 7th. Okay, so Saturn out of the 6 is good news in terms of health and the workload also. So these areas should ease up a bit. On the other hand, Saturn-Neptune in your 7th might create quite a bit of trouble in your close relationships. I won't lie. With Saturn, you will look at partnerships with a critical eye. And you will carefully weigh the pros and cons, of keeping that partnership going. It's a case of either being all in and committing for the long run, or rather run for the hills instead. With Neptune, some confusion might also creep in regarding partnerships. Some deception even, and this might come from both sides, okay? Unclear problems might appear, or the distribution of tasks between the two of you won't be clear-cut. Beware of falling into a victim-savior pattern, okay, with Neptune, and that would do no one any good. With Neptune, you might either be disappointed by your partner or quite the opposite, put him or her on a pedestal, which amounts to the same sooner or later, because nobody can be put on the pedestal for the long term. Idealism is not helpful, so try to have honest talks and make your expectations of each other as clear as possible. Chiron is also there, so this will be a tricky task, that might stir up some vulnerable, issues and spots in both of you. Uranus in your 8th must have shown up as sudden issues with other people's money, be it your spouse's or taxes and insurance, or even inheritance. So sudden passings of people and things might have occurred. With the full moon in your on the 1st of February in your 11th house, actually, this is strengthening bonds with your friends and communities, letting you shine among them, because this is a Leo moon. The new moon in your 5th is a new state of things concerning your children and your love life. With Pluto there for the long time, these will be areas where we'll feel pressured, by events. The intensity of change will be overwhelming at times. And Mars there with Pluto probably was just such a time. With Pluto, you know that transformation is irreversible. There is no turning back, it's also inevitable, okay? And this time, this new moon is squaring Uranus, so change might be, forced on you a little bit. The important dates for Libra. Okay, so Venus is sextiling Chiron on the 4th. So this is a day to discuss with your partner, okay? This and also the 27th when Venus is sextiling Juno. So both the 4th and the 27th are good days to spend with your partner and try to make clear what you expect of one another. Also try to smoothen out, any conflicts, any discord that might be there. On the 8th, Venus is squaring Uranus, so it's a day of the unexpected. It's also a day of perhaps unexpected good times as well. Why not? Try out an unexpected hobby, perhaps. Or meet an unexpected, new person that might become important in your life. Also on the 17th, this might happen because then Venus will be conjunct the North Node. And it will be a very social day with lots of social contacts and also possibly meeting somebody new. And on the 28th and the 22nd as well, Venus is making nice aspects to Jupiter and Mercury. So both of these days is just about having a good time, relax, treat yourself to something nice and have fun. Okay, now on to Scorpio. So Pluto is your ruler, the modern ruler, and it's in your 4th house. So this puts the focus on your home life and family life. This is for the long, long run, okay? But right now, in the beginning of the month, it is again put forward because we have all these inner planets in Aquarius. With Venus and the Sun there, this is an ideal time for home renovation and repair, redecorating, and of course, also moving house if you need to. Investing in real estate is also a possibility. You will enjoy better than usual family relationships, even though the trend there can be conflictual in the long term. Pluto brings irreversible change, as I just said. So even if you have been living all your life in one place, this doesn't mean that you will stay there forever. This might not be possible, anymore. It's a gradual process, but this is boosted by the stellium in Aquarius, and especially by Mars being there conjunct Pluto. Mars is not known for its peaceful nature, so the atmosphere at home can get a little bit tense in the second half of the month. Domestic accidents might happen, so also damage to the building, so take care. Also, the incentive to move might grow stronger with this. It's also, well, Mars is also a good opportunity to really get down to work and do things where they need to be done, like repair, as I said. With the inner planets that are moving to your 5th house, this comes as a welcome respite. At the end of the month, it's time for relaxing, for having fun, perhaps with your kids, getting a crush on someone, and meeting a significant other is also likely because Venus is conjuncting the North Node in your 5th house. This is a nice and agreeable time that can prove quite wildly romantic, very enjoyable at the very least. Jupiter in your 9th house is an invitation to learn, to discover, to explore. You probably already got the urge, to travel and see other places, as exotic as possible. If you will continue to have this chance, actually up until the summer, with Jupiter in Cancer. If you are studying, this should be also quite a productive phase. And if you are at all religiously inclined, this Jupiter in Cancer will open up new channels, of inspiration and communion, with your community. Saturn and Neptune are going into your 6th house. So Saturn, out of your fifth house finally gives you permission to have fun, but only to add to the workload because it goes into your 6th. With both Saturn and Neptune in your 6th house, you'd be well advised to check on your health, because this Saturn-Neptune combination can be very draining. You will be taking your work very seriously. You'll be no slacker at your job, but remember to also take some rest. It's important. With Chiron there too, you can't take your Olympic shape for granted anymore. And your pet's health can also be at risk, because, Chiron and the 6th house is also affecting your pets. So a trip to the vet might be in order. Uranus in the 7th has probably caused some havoc in your close relationships. Uranus does tend to favor breakups over reunions and distance over closeness. So one partner might, suddenly start to crave more independence and freedom and might just walk out of the relationship if it's not strong enough or flexible enough to accommodate this. I am not saying this is necessarily happening, only that Uranus in the 7th is alerting, to this possibility. Uranus will stay in Taurus, so in your 7th house, for another 3 months, roughly. So, as always, really, it is important to have honest communication, honest conversations with your partner over your respective wants and needs. The full moon on the 1st of February is happening in your 10th house. So this is a crisis or culmination in your career or public status that can illuminate your achievements and can bring a well-deserved recognition. The new moon on the 17th in your 4th is a wake-up call with this square to Uranus to get that renovation, home improvement or move underway. Or else this could be a sudden unexpected event concerning your parents. In any case, this is a disruption of life at home, as you know it. Okay, the important dates for Scorpio this month. So if you look at Mars first, Mars is squaring Uranus on the 27th. So this is quite an alarm, bell going off, because with the square to Uranus, unexpected things might happen, and with Mars, these unexpected things might be of the accident nature. Okay, also your temper might run high, so try to cool off a bit. Try to take it easy, pay attention around the 26, 27, like that, because Mars aspects tend to happen before the exact date. Okay, on the other hand, with Pluto, no, nothing major is happening. Also, I should have said that on the 13th also of the month, with Mars quincunx Jupiter, this is a day when you will feel really boosted, and really able to tackle no matter what task. But you should take it easy, because right afterwards you will feel quite tired. Okay, now on to Sagittarius. And just let me drink a little bit, some more of my tea. Okay. So Sagittarius, your ruler Jupiter is in your 8th house in Cancer, and this has exposed you to some dark aspects of life, perhaps made you ponder matters of such nature as life and death, and how to value things and people and, still let them go. Jupiter, and indeed Sagittarius, has a strong affinity to philosophy, so reflections on the meaning of life, so fragile, so flawed, and yet so precious, this might have come naturally to you. On the more practical side, you are probably faced with questions of debt, credit, financial transactions, property to be shared with your partner. Jupiter will still be Jupiter, of course, so in these respects you probably turned out some profit, If you encountered health problems, as might be the case in the 8th house, Jupiter probably helped to heal. The inner planets are moving from your 3rd to your 4th. So you start off in the mood of merry conversations and even romantic whispers. You might discover a talent for writing, perhaps. Anyway, you can communicate quite efficiently and charmingly also, and are a quick learner too at this time. Afterwards, the accent is put on your home environment in your 4th house, where you'll feel the need to decorate, to make yourself at home, really. Mars in your 3rd might prompt some harsh words, so maybe directed at your siblings or close acquaintances, okay, so take care. It's also prompting you to really get your schedule as busy as possible with small trips, here and there, with discussions, conversations, contracts to be signed. Saturn just exited your 4th, so it probably felt a bit uncomfortable and a bit cold at home. Now you can feel more at ease and more willing to add your personal touch to your home surroundings. Your relationship with your parents, will probably also improve. Now Saturn and Neptune are going into your 5th house. So you will feel quite romantic with Neptune, but will take matters of the heart too much at heart, if I may say so. You'll be dead serious about who you'll get involved with. You will have such high standards with Saturn there that very few people will make the cut, I must say. You are a bit tired and disappointed in matters of love, and perhaps fear another disillusionment, with Neptune. Once bitten, twice shy, as they say. If you are a parent, your children will require your undivided attention, and you will take parenting very seriously too. Chiron is there as well, so you take pains to protect their vulnerabilities and yours. You won't be your most confident self in matters of love or as a parent. And, but you should trust that you're not the only one who feels that way, and be more kind to yourself. Uranus in the 6th is there for another 3 months. And this will make for a hectic and unreliable, changing schedule that will keep you on your nerves. If you are longing for some rest, right now is not the time yet, alas. The full moon that's happening on the 1st is in your 9th house. So this is the call to travel, to explore, that is so dear to Sagittarius, or some culmination or crisis regarding your higher studies or possibly spirituality. Religion might be very appealing to you at this time, because this addresses the questioning of Jupiter in the 8th that I discussed before. Okay, so the new moon in your 3rd, this should be some disruptive news concerning your siblings, perhaps, or your neighborhood, your close community, or maybe a piece of news that is really perturbing you at some level. Okay. The important dates for Sagittarius this month. Okay, so on the 5th, the Sun is quincunx Jupiter. So this is a need to readjust your plans because something unexpected happens. On the 5th, Jupiter is squaring Ceres, so don't overdo it with food at this time. And it's also a day where you should improve your relationship with your parents, perhaps, or you should display your talents, as a parent, and take some quality time with your kids. On the 13th, Mars is quincunx Jupiter as well, and you should pay attention not to overexert yourself. You will be quite in good shape, but still, okay, because A pulled muscle is quickly, can quickly happen. On the 13th, Jupiter is opposing Juno, and this is a day, of either expansive feelings in committed relationships, or a day when some dealings with justice, occur regarding your commitments. So it's a day that can go both ways, good and bad with your committed partner. On the 16th, Mercury is trining Jupiter, so this is just a day of good news, okay? Happy feelings, good humor, enjoy it. And on the 22nd, Venus is trining Jupiter, so again, a day of romantic feelings, telling your love to someone, and also treating yourself to something nice, go out shopping. You can spend quite a good deal of money at this day. Just saying. Okay, now on to Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn, your ruler Saturn is going from the 3rd house to the 4th house, from Pisces to Aries. So you are shifting from an overall passive and accepting attitude with Saturn in Pisces to a more dynamic one in Aries, where you surely won't let yourself, be pushed around by nobody. Your ruler in Aries will make sure that your will doesn't go unnoticed, okay? This last 2 and the second half years, with Saturn in Pisces must have been quite productive in terms of learning and of your ability to focus, concentrate, and do mental work. Your communication was probably concise and to the point, because this is Saturn in your 3rd house. Even though Neptune was also there. So Neptune was up to his usual tricks of diffusing and dissolving, creating confusion where Saturn wanted precision, and postponing also what Saturn wanted to be done, now. Your mindset was probably overly serious with Saturn-Neptune in your 3rd. There was not enough room, for humor and lightness. This Saturn-Neptune combination must have weighed down on your spirits as well and create its fair share of misunderstandings. But now Saturn and Neptune are moving together out of your 3rd and into your 4th. Your attitude and communication style will lighten up and get more serene as well. But on the other hand, your home life will be the focus of your discontent. With Saturn there, it will feel somehow uncomfortable, maybe a bit cold, maybe a bit unwelcoming, or at least you will feel inclined to think it. Beware of water-induced damage with Neptune in your 4th. Family relationships will be a bit distended, also a bit more distant, and the typical Saturn-Neptune sadness might infiltrate them. Chiron will also be there, so possibly a family member, a parent most likely, might be ill at this time. You might be on the verge of starting a new chapter on the positive side, like leaving home or moving or starting a new job. Saturn in the 4th often signals like a new beginning that is off to a slow start, slowly but surely, or possibly one that asks you for a timeout before really getting moving. The planets in Aquarius in your 2nd bring good news about your earnings. So you might see a raise in income or a financial gain from some other source. You will be happy and proud of yourself for having earned it. Mars in the 2nd really makes you focus on your, establishing a good income for yourself. And this also works at reinforcing your self-esteem and sense of self-value. The inner planets, all except Mars, are moving then to your 3rd house, and this they deliver more good news and lively conversations. You can communicate gracefully and also display your famous sense of dry humor at this time. If you had any beef going on with siblings, now is the time to smooth things over. You'll find just the right argument and the right way to express yourself to put everyone on the same page. With Jupiter in the 7th house in Cancer, this is protecting your close relationships. You and your partner are being brought even closer with this warm and, affectionate influence. You may see eye to eye, you may feel really intimate and trustful with one another and optimistic also for the long-term prospects of your relationships. Life together feels like fun, with Jupiter. It feels like being exciting and prosperous. It's imbued with good feelings and good intentions. Even if there are conflicts because of other influences, because this might happen, Jupiter in your 7th will help find a mutually benefic way, of solving things. Uranus in your 5th house has probably already introduced you to some unusual, nerdy hobbies, perhaps, and generally lightened up your leisure time with lots of varied interests and occupations. It might also have introduced you to some unusual friends, perhaps, and among them there might well be a new love interest. Possibilities for romance are quite good with this position. Such a relationship has the potential to be really exciting, out of the ordinary, have this spark, but not necessarily long-lasting. Other influences are needed, to make it long-lasting, to stabilize it. The full moon in the 1st of February on your 8th house is a crisis or culmination in terms of financial transactions of some kind. Actually, transactions of some import. Maybe you are taking up a debt because of a significant purchase, something of value with the full moon in Leo. Some unfortunate events can also occur at this time because, it's the 8th house, okay. The new moon, that is also a solar eclipse, is occurring in your 2nd house. And this is an abrupt change in your finances, perhaps most likely a positive change because there are favorable aspects of Venus and Mercury at the same time. Okay, so the important dates for Capricorn, there's only this one date standing out, but because on the 20th, Saturn is conjunct Neptune this month. But this conjunction actually is valid for the whole of the month, and even, it was valid already before. So I won't specify a date for Capricorn in this month. Okay. Just know that your ruler is conjuncting Neptune this month. And in this respect, you should feel much more inspired this month. Soften up a little bit. You will find it hard to concentrate, perhaps. Also because, as I said, Saturn is moving out of your 3rd and into your 4th. And with Neptune there is this diffusion going on. A little bit of confusion, like where am I headed? What am I supposed to do with my life? You can ask yourself some big questions. But on the positive side, you will feel much more sensitive, more empathetic, more open to others. So it's, give and take. Okay, now on to Aquarius. Aquarius, your ruler is Uranus and is in your 4th house, and for some time it has been already. And this has created some instability in your home life. Sudden disruptive events probably happened that changed the living routine and probably made you lose your landmarks a bit. Relationships between family members probably underwent the same kind of changes. Things are not settled yet, because Uranus is still in Taurus. You cannot yet rely on some predictable state of affairs, stable home base, either because you are moving a lot, or because family members came and went, or because their respective situations kept changing. Soon, though, this turbulence will come to an end this spring, when Uranus will go on to Gemini. Planets in Aquarius, they are in your sign, of course, and they are putting you under the spotlight. You must be shining at this moment in all your glorious individuality. You are accepted and admired with all your quirkiness, and you can feel like really, you're someone special. Your special talents can now be fully expressed and also valued. You are looking and feeling good, and life is just interesting for you at this moment. Soon the inner planets will move on to Pisces. This is your 2nd house. And there you will translate these talents into financial, earning capacity, most likely. But you will also build a strong sense of self-value. And this is very important, based on real assets, be they material assets or your actual abilities that you can capitalize on. So this is good, coming on the heels of Saturn that is going out of your 2nd. There was a time in the recent past where you doubted your value, where you were unhappy with your earnings and financial status, money situation, despite your best efforts. Well, that's about to change. Mars will stay in your 1st house for the whole month in Aquarius, so you will have the guts to go after what you want and to make a statement, Another reason for that is that your traditional ruler Saturn is moving into Aries this month. So this is an extra dose of initiative and willful action. Your presence will be commanding. You will behave in a more self-assertive way, much more than usual. And as always with Mars, there is a risk involved. And there's a risk of acting on impulse and inadvertently, hurt yourself or others, especially in the 2nd half of the month. So slow down a little bit. Pluto is in your 1st to stay for the next years, and this amplifies your impact for better or for worse. You are called to make quite an impression on the world, okay, with Pluto there. It's up to you to choose which one it will be, okay? This beginning of the month, with all these inner planets in Aquarius in your sign, might be just your lucky break, so seize the day. Jupiter in your 6th house is providing excitement and avenues for expansion in your everyday life. It might be routine, but it's not boring. You find ways to keep yourself busy and entertained. There are a million little things that you do during a day, things that you try out, perhaps a new healthy routine, like fitness, running, yoga, whatever, or even more like some new healthy recipe, because Jupiter is in Cancer. Huh? Saturn and Neptune are moving, as I said, into your 3rd house. It's time for focused mental work, with a touch of inspiration with Neptune that is added in. This is a splendid influence if you are studying, because it lets you concentrate and see the detail without losing touch, with the biggest picture. But I must caution against the pitfall with Saturn and Neptune that I have been talking about all these months, because this conjunction was looming large, namely falling into melancholy, a tendency to see the worst in anything. With Neptune, we are overly sensitive, and we can easily feel like, giving up. Saturn is adding in restrictions, painstaking work, and a serious mindset. So the two combined can trigger some depressive thoughts, you can see that. The antidote to this would be to express them through journaling, perhaps, or through some other artistic way of expressing. Actually, keeping a diary would be a brilliant idea at this time. Let your thoughts flow, and put them on paper without dwelling too much on the negative. And take advantage of Saturn to do the mental work. The full moon on the 1st of February is occurring in your 7th house. So this is a culmination or crisis in your couple, in your close relationships. Whatever issue is lingering there, it is being now put under the spotlight. For some, it might be the beginning of a commitment also, because getting involved with a partner, because this is a Leo full moon that is bursting at the seams with a desire for love, I must say. Just as I said at the beginning. If you are dealing with the public, maybe like an artist or something, they will adore you, The new moon on the 17th is happening in your 1st house, so this is a radical change with a square to Uranus. You might make a drastic move that will take everyone by surprise, or perhaps such an event will happen to you. It's hard to say with Uranus, it can go both ways. As for the important dates of the month, okay. So Mercury is squaring Uranus on the 5th. So meaning the 5th is a day of expect the unexpected, okay? Lots of unexpected news, changing in schedule, discussions that might trigger you a little bit, new ideas that are, coming up out of nowhere in your head. And then on the 8th, we have Venus squaring Uranus. It's Venus's turn. So with Venus, you can discover a new hobby, enjoy yourself in a new and fresh and pleasant way. Also meeting new people and maybe actually even fall in love. On the 16th, some more squares to Uranus, this time from the Sun. And, it's a square, so changing in plans is indicated. Also, your plans for the future might be reconsidered at this time, and lots of unexpected events, and also some technological breakdowns possibly also on the 16th. On the 27th, Mars is squaring Uranus, so you will be extremely energetic, maybe a bit too much actually. There's lots of energy to spend there. Just pay attention and watch out for any accident, okay? And last but not least, let's talk about Pisces. Okay, so Pisces, your Lord Neptune, it's your modern ruler, just left your sign and is now into your 2nd house. Your traditional ruler, Jupiter, is now in your 5th house. So the message here is to affirm your value through being creative, okay? This is the thing that you do very well. Neptune is inspiration and now is in Aries, okay? So it is gaining momentum and feels a thirst for action that is quite out of character actually for him. At 0 degrees of Aries, what's more, this is the very beginning of the zodiac, the flow of inspiration is just crying out to take form and emerge from our collective unconscious, okay? After this long stay of Neptune in Pisces. And who better than a Pisces to help it, take shape? mold it into shape, You must feel it already, because this new youthful energy that is circulating in your veins, and this is bringing like a new dawn of hope after all these years of Neptune in Pisces. Jupiter in the 5th house, on the other hand, is bidding you to have some fun in the process, while effortlessly also creating something. This is a playful, spontaneous, joyful energy that's coming in. If you are a parent, you'll spend some great quality time with your children and sharing in their plays, perhaps. Perhaps one of your kids will make you particularly proud as a parent. The 5th is also sports, and with the energy of Jupiter there, you'll be tempted to break your records. So just don't overdo it. Actually, speculation also belongs to this house, and with Jupiter there, you will be a bit tempted also to do some gambling, okay? So in these respects, I can only advise you against any Jupiterian excesses. Romance with the 5th house is also definitely possible at this time, with both the full moon and the new moon playing into this theme, okay? So don't hesitate to try your luck with someone new. And you won't hesitate because Jupiter is there. I know it. With Neptune in your house of earnings, it can go both ways, because Neptune is shapeless and limitless, okay? So prospects for material gain are not very good at first sight, because there's Saturn also conjunct Neptune in your 2nd house. But Saturn can be hard work and perseverance, and this in itself can move mountains, and can achieve goals. So what I'm saying is you can certainly increase your earnings, but at the cost of a sustained personal effort, okay? It won't come by luck. The planets in Aquarius in the first half of the month in your 12th are preparing you for the big leap in the second half. Because then they will be in Pisces, your sign, and celebrate your birthday, with increased allure, happy good mood, and bright ideas also with Mercury there. You will feel beautiful, you will feel good, you will feel admired and attractive with Venus in your sign. The last 10 days of February give you a chance actually to shine brightly and impress everyone with your sense of style, and personal branding. Mars is still in your 12th house this month, so it is not yet, entirely able to act on your behalf. It's not yet time to take the initiative that you want to take or start a new project. There are still some things that you must do to prepare before. And the project will keep, till March, when the stage will be set for the launch, because Mars will then move on to Pisces. Right now, you don't function at full speed and capacity, so take time to rest, and don't doubt that your energy will be again at top level in March. In the meantime, Uranus in the 3rd is still providing plenty of information to keep your mind occupied. You must have learned a good deal in this last few years with Uranus in Taurus. Your communication style might be a bit abrupt, perhaps, at times, or startlingly original, but you might throw people a bit with your ideas out of left field. And this is particularly true of Pisces ascendant. Uranus in your 3rd might also have brought some nervous tension, some mental stress, perhaps, while flooding you with a constant flow of information, It's certainly stimulating, but it must have felt also exhausting at times. The full moon on the 1st of February is happening in your 6th house, so this is a crisis or culmination regarding your daily work or a current health issue, perhaps. A pet of yours also might be affected. The new moon in the 12th house on the 17th speaks about a change in your long-term health, or maybe sudden anxiety, or the sudden inspiration coming out of nowhere, because it's the square to Uranus we're talking about. And this inspiration will ask to be brought to life. Okay? So, important dates for Pisces. We will look at both rulers, okay? So, as far as Jupiter is concerned, on the 5th, we have this quincunx of the Sun to Jupiter. So, adjusting of plans and ideas. On the 5th, a square to Ceres. So, it's a day that is highlighting your mother-child relationship. You can be a parent or the child in this situation. On the 13th, with the quincunx to Mars, of Jupiter to Mars, actually it's a day where you can feel quite fueled up, and ready to explode, to tackle any task with full speed. But actually you should temper things a little bit, because you will be really tired afterwards. On the 13th, Jupiter is opposing Juno, so it's a day where your relationship with your significant other is highlighted, and you should talk things over with your person. On the 16th, Mercury is trining Jupiter, so a day full of communications, reunions, social life. On the 22nd, Venus is trining Jupiter, so this is a romantic day full of affection, and you will feel loved and appreciated and cared for. Okay. Actually, as Neptune is your ruler, we should remember that this month we see this Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's coming in. And with Saturn, you might become, much more serious this month. Don't fret if you feel your mood, being a little bit down this month. It's only Saturn's way to express itself. And it serves a purpose, to make you be your most efficient and your most focused, in order to achieve things. Okay. So this is what I had for you for the month of February. Okay. So I'm looking forward to meet you for March. Okay. And in the meantime, I will keep discussing the new moon and the full moons, the lunations as they come, and giving, due attention to each day in turn. Okay. So follow me on this channel if you are interested. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. And I will be happy to meet you again here, okay? So have a nice February, everyone. Bye-bye.